Okay, everybody. So we're going to be doing Molly Monday. So we're going to be TIG welding some chromoly tubing, 083 wall chromoly tubing, to some 1/8 inch mild steel plate. We're doing down bars and a Mopar, and I have not gone over chromoly yet. We're going to be using our edge welding cup. Check this thing out. It's got I believe it's a 12 opening this way and a 5 opening this way. I may be incorrect, but this thing is my favorite for TIG welding roll cages and chassis. It really allows you to get in some tight places, and with their cups, I mean, you can run a ton of stick out. You know, if you're doing if you run a much larger cup like one of these, a number 15, this one is an 18, you can actually run like 3 inches of stick out with their cups because they flow so well. They put a lot of science into them. But anyway, we're going to go over TIG welding this chromoly tubing to this plate. The only difference in TIG welding chromoly, in my opinion, is just it's a thin wall tubing versus welding to a thicker plate. That's generally the hardest part. A lot of people think that when you clean up the edges of this, you clean the mill scale off of it. You've got to be real careful, because if you taper that down or bevel it, you're actually creating a thinner wall. So it's going to want to burn back on you. So in my experience, 1/16, 2% lanthanated tungsten, you're going to have a real tight arc length. You're going to try to keep your arc length real tight. And I like to use an 045 wire. It's an ER70S2, I believe. ER70S6 will work, and I believe ER80SD is actually permitted by NHRA as well. The reason you don't use chromoly filler rod when welding a chassis or a roll cage is because it's much more brittle than mild steel. So the welds tend to break instead of flex. So they want you to use a mild steel filler rod. ER70S6 is fine. So let's get with it. Hopefully you guys will be able to see. I'm just going to try to get this tacked up. When I had it in the car, I went ahead and clocked it and put some Sharpie marks there so that I know once I get this tacked, it'll fit back in the car correctly. I'll check again before I weld the entire thing up, and then we'll weld this base plate to the frame rail. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take the rest of this up. Got my copper block to prevent the plate from warping. Again, I don't know if I said it already, but when you're welding a thicker material to a thinner material, you really want to try to focus your arc at the thicker material and let the edge of your puddle wash into it, if that makes sense. Otherwise, if you're focused more so at this thin wall tubing, it's just going to burn back, it's going to peel back, and it's going to piss you off. Now with chromoly as well, say that we're notching these for tubing, like a roll cage, where you're going to have it coped or notched, and come in here. When you make your notches, you want to make sure that you grind those sharp edges back to the same thickness as the wall thickness, okay? Because on the very outsides, whether you're using a hole saw or an end mill notcher like mine, you're going to get real thin, sharp edges on the tops of your copes. So you want to peel those back with a grinder until you've got full material thickness. In this case, we're just welding plate, so letting my post flow over the weld. Turned out nice. Excuse the shaking. I'm gonna pull the camera off the tripod and show you guys what we've got. Oh, sorry. So as you can see, we got our last plate put on. Got that all welded up. Come out too shabby. Now I tacked on my plate that's gonna weld up on the firewall. Got it tacked and clamped to the table to prevent it from warping. So I'll go ahead and get with it. We'll get this one welded up and start with our second tube. And I started using these Defiant metal gloves, and I'm in love. They are way thicker than the Black Stallions that I was using, but I still have fine enough dexterity that it doesn't bother me. That's always been the problem why I've always used Black Stallion, and these ones are the shit. So again, I'm trying to focus my arc not too much, but a little more towards the plate than the tubing. So like I said, the first few times you go to weld chromoly tubing, you're going to be pissed off. It's going to be frustrating, but just keep working at it. You know, you want to establish your arc really quick. It's a big thing. It's a lot like stainless in that sense. Anytime you're welding thin wall anything, it's kind of like stainless. You want to get in and out with your heat really quick. Otherwise, you're actually going to create more heat input by trying to go slow. So you want to get your puddle built within 1 to 2 seconds. Boom. Got my puddle built. Oh. Did I ever tell you guys I messed up once or twice? Need to finish this little baby wheel right there. And, very nice, very nice. Not too bad.